one's going to take some pre-information to get started. And also, welcome back to Unfiltered. Today we're talking about Hosea the prophet. Now, to understand this, God was really upset with the children of Israel. So he used Hosea as kind of an analogy to get through his message. God and Israel were in a different place. It almost felt like the Israelites were cheating on God, and God wasn't very happy with that.
The backstory on this one is actually very important because the Israelites were kind of double dipping in religions. They would come back to God and then run away and then come back and run away. And it was just a vicious cycle. So God was upset, and I would say rightfully so. He felt cheated and disrespected.
God used Hosea to make a point, and he told him to do something a little bit crazy. Marry a sex worker. Friend, I just realized 2 of our stories have sex workers in them. Huh. Who would have thunk?
I honestly feel like this wouldn't be the rebel season of Unfiltered if we didn't.
So God told Hosea to marry a sex worker. Melissa, gut reaction.
In case you didn't know, prophets were kind of like souped up or leveled up pastors, which, by the way, Hosea was one. And they were leveled up because they had a different relationship with God. Not only were they able to talk to God, but they also served as leaders of the Israelite nation.
This is a bit of a wild request, but Hosea, unlike our friend Gideon from last week, did not question God. Enter Gomer. Gomer showed up, he met her, he married her, she got pregnant. Talk about moving oh so fast.
As a teacher, I cannot imagine doing roll call for all of Hosea's children. Yes, Jezreel, okay. No mercy, not my people.
You'd think that Hosea chose these names for his children, but you're wrong. It was God. He was trying to make a point.
Again, God and his pettiness, you gotta love it. Oh, also very unfortunate for Hosea and Gomer's children. But God was trying to make a point, and his point was that he was going to end Israel's independence in the Jezreel Valley.
Yeah, they would be captured. Again, dramatic. But that's God for you. Petty God. We love to see it.
No mercy because, well, God wasn't going to have any mercy on them. And not my people because, well, God was essentially disowning them. So there you go.
But then, of course, things with Gomer got worse because, my friends, he cheated. God used this opportunity to express some emotions because he had a lot of them. Kind of like that Rachel Ross letter that happened in Friends. It was 12 pages, front and back.
These were very rough with the God/Israel relationship at the time. And God had a lot to say. There was so much hurt, pain, deception, and betrayal that had really damaged that relationship.
Just like Hosea, he was so hurt for his children and his family that he was lost. And so was God. But things started to take a turn around chapter 2. See, God decided to have this grand idea to go back for Israel. And this gave God the idea to tell Hosea to go back and get the girl.
Not only does Hosea go out to find his wife, who has returned back to her previous profession, but he also buys his wife back. He goes out, wins her back, buys her back, and brings her home. No questions asked, nothing. That's it.
Except, of course, if you could refrain from sleeping with other men, that's all Hosea asked. Hosea, man, a patient man.
He was obedient too. Gomer and Hosea, we don't really hear about them for the rest of the chapter. Low-key, I really didn't believe Jaron when he told me that the rest of the book was the Rachel letter, but yeah, go ahead, check it back. It's true, facts.
Now, we want to be crystal clear when we say this. Abuse of any kind is not accepted in a relationship. Right, Melissa?
That is absolutely correct. And our God would want the best for us, not to stay in a toxic relationship of any kind. But this is a great story to teach us that God is always going to be out there, and he is desperately searching for us, even when we are trying to run away from him.
Hosea was a rebel because I would have left. Listen, when God calls us to do things, it isn't always cool. It's one thing to say I went off to war or I slayed the dragons, but Hosea put his emotions on the line. And that sometimes is the hardest thing. But Hosea did it to prove a point for God.
I would also say that Hosea was a rebel because he didn't care about his shiny, perfect, holy appearance. He went after a wife that, honestly and frankly, most people wouldn't even try to go after or even had in their circle of friends.
God uses this story to show his love for us, his deep, deep love for us. It reminds me that God loves me so deeply and so passionately, and he loves you too. And he's always willing to fight for me and for you.
no matter who you are and where you come from. Well, that brings us to the end of Hosea. Don't forget to click, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
You know this week was a little bit different than most. I blame Alyssa. She chose this story. It's true. So come back next week for part 6.